That's good.
It's a good start. Infernal is the first map pick. That's still really, really good. And Battlefield is left available as well. But it's better than going to Dragonshire.
Exactly. We saw what happened to teams that did not respect the Dragonshire pick from SPT. They got dismantled. No chance whatsoever for RPG. They get outclassed heavily. And that was a team that normally knows how to beat SPT, right? It was one of their few kryptonites left in the league, and they didn't stand a chance. So the fact that BTG banned out the Dragonshire, the best battleground for SPT, already tells us that they did a little bit of homework.
Yeah, I would much rather play against SPT on Battlefield or Infernal than I would on Dragonshire, because Dragonshire, you know you're going to lose in team fights and rotations. On Infernal, you know that you can win if you just outdraft slightly. Same with Battlefield of Eternity. You can win if you get a really good Immortal race comp and just don't die. It is... Good poke can win the game on this map if you are careful enough.
And the same happened to SPT yesterday. They lost on Infernal Shrines against RPG simply due to the fact that RPG's drafting was so good and their team fighting was even better. Whereas on Dragonshire, they could just avoid their opponents, they could just outsmart them, outrotate them, and take the victory, as you said, Tetris. So definitely a good point by BTG to get rid of that battleground. Now, we're going to take a look at the bans here. Nothing surprising up to this point. Ariel and Tassadar seem to be the poisons that nobody wants to taste here in China still. I think you talked about it yesterday during the Open Division with Grubby. Like, the bans in Europe right now, especially in the amateur scene, are so different from what we've seen professional Chinese play.
It really is. Like, ETC is top ban, basically, in Europe at this point. Like, it's Ariel, TAS, or ETC, but never all Ariel and TAS just go to Insta.
Exactly, so...
I will answer this question in chat very quickly. Why don't Sanctification and Moshpit get picked together? They used to, and they still do. It's just a scenario of... They usually fill a very similar role of just absorbing abilities. One is good CC, the other one is good teamfight protection. Like, you run a Tyrael with, like, a Greymane all-in comp kind of thing, and burning a Sank and a Mosh Pit, if you mess it up, you've burnt 2 100 cooldown abilities to achieve very little.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly high execution, high reward composition that you can achieve a very similar situation by just taking Divine Shield.
Exactly. So if you go Tyrael plus ETC, I would actually say it's better to go Stage Dive, because then Tyrael can fulfill that role as a main tank, whereas ETC is played almost like a Dehaka, and you basically have more tools available on how to pressure your opponents. It's
viable, but it's so high risk that it can sometimes be bad.
Exactly.
So there you go.
But then again, we also have a risky stage dive plays, if you remember yesterday, with
so many.
Lucky not having the best of days with those empty stage dives, as I want to call them. Nobody came to the party.
Yeah, it's like actually trying to stage dive into a crowd when you're a musician, and they just like, oh, yeah, we're not catching you. Listen, wait, dude. And you just face plant the floor.
Exactly. So, the Malthael being locked in next to his best buddy Tyrael. Oftentimes you see Malthael being picked together with Tyrael because he's also the best counter at the same time. So getting that out of the way and implementing it into your own battle plan is a very nice thing to do. Also Rehgar, we've seen Rehgar to be one of the few supports that on a regular basis gets picked solo, whereas other supports like let's say Brightwing or Ariel and Uther, they're normally paired together with somebody else.
Very true. So, we do need to study to see the supports for SPT. Uther's available. Karazim's available if you want really good immortal murderers.
True.
So we've got a couple options there. Potentially both of them, if they wanted to. They could get that.
Wow, look at Soap's win rate here, by the way.
6-0 with Sonya. And who could really blame him? Sonya's really good on this map, and he's really good on Sonya. So a good combo indeed. So I would like to see Uther Lucio or Karazim Lucio here.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah, you got Lucio for the sound barrier to try and counteract the Malthael. You've got Karazim for the good immortal rush, and you can get, and they both give DC. Karazim for a little bit more burst, not as much as Uther, but no armor for Malthael to completely ignore. So technically, it's more efficient healing.
Exactly. There's basically two ways how you can deal with Malthael these days. The first one is very simple and straightforward. You try to out-sustain the damage inflicted by his Tormented Souls, and as such, heroes like Tyrael or Lucio, as we mentioned, are very good tools because they have strong AoE protection. The second way of dealing with Malthael is you shut him down, and you basically don't even want to deal with all that AoE damage. And certain heroic abilities have the means to do that. Stitches, Gorge, excuse me, then we have the Cocoon coming in from Anubarak, so that's the second way.
Yeah, Punisher not immortal, by the way. I made that mistake. Karazim still works very nicely at putting pressure onto those heroes, and just punching the Punisher can be very effective when it is already in the defense. They now need a tank. Preferably one with some very heavy lockdown, because Genji is on the board. Genji and Malthael are on the board. This is like 2 patches ago nightmare fuel.
Exactly. It's a good thing that Genji was nerfed a little bit, Malthael was nerfed a little bit, but still, those two together plus the Greymane, that can be quite scary. And right now we have one of those infamous Tyrael Deathball compositions at our hands here for BTG. With Tyrael being the only frontliner, really. And his single goal, or his single purpose here in this game is to be to enable the other assassins, basically. Yeah. Making them invulnerable with the sanctification, providing shields, and so on and so forth. And it's going to be really hard for SPT to deal with that. They need a little bit more disengage, and they go for the Anubarak. Very smart, in my opinion.
Good disengage.
Yeah, that's good.
I like it. So my mind instantly just went to looking at that comp of BTG. It's just like, how is this the most abusable? And my mind went to, what if we were to go Cursed Bullet, Judgment, Last Rites, and just try and blow them up? Maybe throw in an X strike in there. But yeah, that is basically 3 heroics to kill 1 person. But then again, the cooldowns aren't so bad. But either way, that's not what we're going to see. Sang is too good with these heroes.
Yeah, exactly. There's just too many benefits of Sanctification to empower all the other fellow allied heroes. For now, though, there was a little bit of a debate going on in the chat between or whether Arthas would have been a better choice than Anubarak. I think both heroes would have actually worked just fine. Anubarak is a little bit safer when it comes to shutting down both the Dragon Blade, potentially, and the Tormented Souls, whereas Arthas, I think, would have been better in those longer, drawn-out battles, because he has more slowing over time.
I very much prefer Anubarak here.
Same here.
He has the slight issue of summoning beetles, which can actually empower cocktails. But he has that small amount of spell armor to help him here. He has Cocoon for the Tormented Souls, which is such a big deal. And the Dragon Blade. He has to decide between the two, which is a really rough decision. I would prefer the Tormented Souls if he has to make that decision. Actually, Lucia's got Sound Barrier for that, so he has the option. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, we are loading into game number 1 of this best of 2. It's SPT versus BTG. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Infernal Shrines. Spawning on the left-hand side is going to be Super Perfect Team with Chen Zhao playing Valor, Melody C on Lucio, Misaka on Anubarak, Soap on Sonya, and ZZH on Karazim.
And their opponent's going for a very aggressive team composition. It's beyond the game. With A on the Genji, 619 on Tyrael, ZJZ plays Malthael, MJ's rocking that, Rhaegar, and ST on the Greymane. Now, it's a clash of styles, if you will. They're very protective comp, a very disruptive team comp here, with SPT going for a lot of CC in terms of Cocoon shutting down the prime targets, and of course protection provided by Karazim, Sonya, who can heal herself, and Lucio, most importantly, with that sound barrier. And there's a lot of aggression coming on here from beyond the game. So much blow-up potential, but as it is with all of those aggressive pick comps, they need to land those kills. If they basically get denied all the time or get stalled out, then I fear for their late game capabilities in teamfights.
And that's a reasonable fear to have. Like you said, they can get outplayed in the teamfights if they are not able to keep the sustain up. For now, both teams do it okay. I will say, before slightly off topic from that original point, I'm really happy to see Melody C on Lucio again, because we've seen it once before this phase, and it is godlike.
Yeah, absolutely. Very rarely have I seen a Lucio playing this aggressively and getting away with it. Like Melody C, you will see that he is not afraid to even duel a Genji at times. And for some miraculous reason, he just refuses to die. Like if I played Lucio like Melody C is doing here in HGC China, I would probably start feeding in no time.
It's like the difference between, if you remember that Overwatch mode, like the 3v3 mode, it's like the difference between Lucio in a regular game of Overwatch, where he's just running around, keeping his team healed, drops the sound barrier, versus that 3v3 mode, where he's the only member on his team left, and he's against a Roadhog, and his entire job is just stay alive, but also poke. And he's just dancing around, being immensely annoying, dodging the hook, and just not going down.
There we go. Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, let's take a look at some of the early talents here. Tetra, there's a couple of interesting choices here. Most importantly, I think the Regeneration Master for a Nubarak, because whenever you don't have a traditional mage on the enemy team, you can consider going for the Regeneration Master. You don't have to go for it, because Nerubian Armor is still going to give you some decent value regardless, but it's definitely a nice choice. In the meantime, we see a gank here, and STO barely gets out alive. ZZH here, missing that one last basic attack. So clutch.
He nearly effed up as well, because he actually rolled into the wall, not through his gate. So if they'd actually realized that, they could have easily locked him down and killed him. But he lived, so it was very lucky to be able to escape that.
Alright, in the meantime, SPT have postured up very nicely, and they have established themselves a dominant position in that first shrine. Keep in mind, it's an Arcane Punisher that is going to spawn out of this shrine, so those are normally the ones you really want to secure for yourselves, because they deal the most damage, they have the greatest sieging potential. In the meantime, though, beyond the game, they realize, you know what, there's nothing to be done about it, we took so much damage before, so let's just take mercenary camps and get value elsewhere.
Yeah, and they want to try and get any kind of value elsewhere that they can. For now, the Arcane Punisher putting that pressure on, piling it onto the mid lane here. As we see A, once again, piecing back out over that wall, doesn't want to get caught out.
And Lucio doing such a good job here to really disrupt the enemy team's formation and rotations, most importantly. Like, he's always trying to dismount people so they can't really reach the middle fort that quickly. He's always trying to cause a little bit of distraction, confusion, so they will attack him instead of going for the defense here. Such cool play by Melody C, really mind gaming and toying with his opponents.
And it's kind of a big deal here. You actually saw that it was just Greymane on mid for so long, because Lucio was being so disrupting in the middle lane. So Greymane didn't want to bait the Punisher over because he knew he would die. So instead of the usual level 1 Punisher, or the first Punisher of the game, got one tower, or like the front wall.
Maybe with no towers,
This got the front wall, and a fountain, and about half the fort worth of damage.
Oh, player kill number 1!
Oh, player killer! Oh, he missed the attack. He whiffed it. Now he has to escape 3 heroes, though. Poison lands. Heal from Karazin.
Wow.
Material. It goes down. Nearly got out.
Lucy around the world, but look at the confusion that we talked about earlier. The bottom lane is now totally open, because Beyond the Game used all of their heroes to chase down Melody C on that Lucia, and as such, they're probably going to lose more towers in that bottom lane. Soap also doing a great job soaking that XP. Might fall to the Genji, though. Oh. No, the Malthael is going over the wall, and they get the kill. ZJZ now gets to... why didn't he go through the bottom?
Well, I don't know. I think he thought, I'm not sure why he didn't go through the bottom, but either way, he actually was able to dodge the W of Malthael there, and then dive back over the wall to make sure Malthael didn't have an escape route, and then punch him to death. Really nice move.
Yeah, that was really well done. Basically getting the retaliation kill. But another target for SPT died. They lost Quan Zhao in the bottom lane because Tyrael went for that smite talent at level 1. And if he goes for that aggressive route, he's going to become quite the menace, quite the dangerous bruiser, actually.
He's also gone for a shield talent on level 7. I don't think... Is that one reciprocates?
Yes, it is.
I'm double checking.
Yeah. Yeah, the purple one is the cooldown reduction, and yeah.
So we do have the reciprocate here, the bursting shield damage, which can lead to a judgment because it's extra burst damage.
It could,
but it's unlikely.
I don't think it's that unlikely, actually, Tetra. Look at that.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
There's no cleanse available for SPT either. They have Lucio Karazin. So I think you may have a good point. I think we could see that very aggressive route with Judgment blowing someone up.
If I was right and it's cursed bullet last right, it's like 40% off the top, 40% off the bottom.
That's a little bit too crazy, dude.
Next level. It works. It's all percentage damage. But the fact is you have to like do the 20% of damage in middle, which is fine. You have Genji, so meh. I can see it working. It just means you're gonna have to blow every heroic your team has, except for Rhaegar's to kill a hero. For now, we see A just getting poked down. This is an easy objective going over to SPT. Not enough contestation coming in from BTG to fight this because they want level 10.
Alright, exactly. Very true. They want that level 10, and with those heroic abilities unlocked, they of course want to defend more efficiently. Now, if SPT is smart, they're not going to finish the Immortal before they reach level 10 themselves, so they're going to keep it at 39. That's exactly what they're going to do. So they're going to wait a couple of seconds until they soak those minions in the bottom, and then they will unleash the help of the Punisher. But in the meantime, Soap and ZZH, they're just making sure that they can always get that last skeleton when it's needed. And there we go. ZZH charging in, punching that little skeleton to death, and now they're gonna fight together.
So yeah, no judgment, no X-Strike, nothing fancy here at all. Full standard. Sank, which is, like we said before at the very start, it's just too good. Sank, go for the throat, the Tormented Souls, Ancestral Healing, and the Dragon Blade. In response, Wrath of the Berserker, which has already been procced because Sonya wants to wreck stuff. It is the Sound Barrier, Divine Palm, Rain of Vengeance, and the Cocoon.
A in the meantime on the Genji, dropping very low, needs to be careful that he doesn't get jumped on by the Punisher. One of those leaps could have been the end of him. For now though, they got the tower line. They didn't get the fort though because they didn't even focus on it. SPT, that is, they're trying to basically soak all those lanes, get themselves a nice XP lead, and they're already shifting towards the bottom half of the map, grabbing all those impalers, all those mercenaries to cause further delay.
There you see, Boop 619 is just like, no, we're taking this camp and there's nothing you can do about it. As they grab the camp and pull it back here. These Punishers have been getting far too much value for the early game ones that they are. SPT have been really capitalizing on the lack of defenses from BTG.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't get the forts, obviously, but look at the overall health. The tower lines were destroyed, and both forts, respectively, in the top and the middle are between 50 and 70% health. So you can expect future Punishers to just waltz through there and marching right at the respective keeps.
Exactly. It's kind of weird to see it in this scenario. Let's see if the BTG, like you said, the XP-wise, they've done a really good job. They've counter-soaked. They've lost structure health, they've lost integrity, but they've kept themselves in game in terms of efficiency when it comes to later game fights. But the question is, how long are they planning on waiting? They've now missed the level 10 mark for a fight twice, so they don't want to fight when they're on even talents. Are they just trying to out-soak? Good cleanse.
Yeah.
But are they literally just trying to out-soak? In which the case is they're losing structures, so the longer they wait, if they wait another Punisher and it spawns mid again, then that fort's going down, and they're going to be fighting a talent down, and it does spawn mid again. So they kind of have to fight this one, right? They can't afford to wait anymore.
I was gonna say, it's kind of weird, isn't it, to see how BTG, with an aggressive composition like that, has never really looked for a fight to make anything happen. And I think, as you said, if they try to play this game slow, they're only going to sit at a disadvantage here, because the more sustainy, the more wave clear heavy comp is definitely on the side of SPT. Yeah, 13 is going to be important now for them. I really hope that Beyond the Game is going to show us some aggression here in order to make their comp work.
Okay, there's 13 for both teams, and they're finally moving on to the point, but they're already like
quite far behind.
17 behind. They are a very long way back. Early C arrives for his team. Tyrael gets focused. Sanctification is dropped. Tormented Souls is good. Sound Barrier to try and counteract it. A noob coming in trying to focus down ZJZ as the Dragon Blade is procs trying to drop the damage. They get one. They get two. This is the comp as Chen Zhao is focused. Lucio boops away A to prevent the follow-up kill. But finally, BTG pull the trigger. Huge. The patience of a sniper there. And they are able to execute 2 targets and get themselves their first Punisher.
So well played by A on the Genji indeed. He patiently waited until most of the counters. Never mind, as we say, we cursed him, but
I'm trying to compliment you.
We were trying to make you look good, eh? No need to make us look like fools on stream. But no, in all seriousness, that was a really good Dragon Blade, because he waited until most of the counters were gone. He waited until the targets were low enough. The anti-healing from Malthael, making sure that the sustain from Lucio and Karazim were not as efficient as they could have been.
Shield have been used. There was no counter to it left. They blew everything too quickly.
Yeah, very true, very true. So if they keep fighting like that, especially the Sanctification I found to be very good in that choke point between, you know, the left-hand side and the Shrine, was really, really covering a lot of ground. They just need to keep up the momentum right now, and they need to basically stay on guard, because right now, if they get caught like that, 619 may be in trouble. Misaka's not letting go just yet. They know there's no Eldrain's Might, but they're not chasing that deep.
It is luckily Tyrael, aka one of the hardest heroes to kill. Speaking of hard heroes to kill, these two are going to have a fight. Juke is made. Soap is relentless, though. He's got Wrath up. He wants to kill.
Exactly. Oh, the poison spear!
That was going well until the spear hit. If that had gone on the rest of the way,
Genji,
then that would have gone in favor. Genji with the revenge kill, though, so 1 for 1.
Yeah, we see a beautiful adjustment here coming out for Malthael as well. At level 13, he went for the Spell Shield against Sonya, denying most of her damage, especially the spear, as you said, and of course the Shattering. So, kind of cool. But in the meantime, we see a Cocoon go down. Greymon fell. Malthael's still dead. This might be another kill.
It might be. They're looking for 2, actually. Tyrael escapes. It's Genji. He's getting chased, punched. And #1 player killers, the supports, are able to take down the Genji. Tyrael was able to escape it. That's still 2 more kills going over to SPT.
Yeah, that was really important because they finally managed to close the gap that they, they had lost the XP lead in the meantime because of that Punisher fight previously, but now they're back full swinging, and 16 is now ready for them to be taken. We see the frost shots coming in for Vala. I like that quite a bit. Just needs to be careful not to fire it into the Sanctification, but if she manages to hit it correctly, then she's going to provide a lot of additional slowing and disengage. Whereas we see the level 16 choice up the frequency here for Lucio, reducing the mana cost and dealing damage causes the cooldown to be refreshed, not refreshed, excuse me, lowered as well. So they want to have more healings more frequently.
Yeah, it basically means that auto attacks lower the cooldown of Amp It Up. So
exactly.
This does combo very well with either bonus track or Symphonasia or God damn it, or Tativa 619 teleporting out. Why do I keep trying? As we do, so it means he is going to have a constant cleanse, which is going to be good against Anub'arak potentially, or just extra healing and speed, which is going to help out a lot. He has to dash out.
Has to dash out. Tyrael is still relatively low. Took the healing fountain, I believe, and is slowly but surely coming back to good health. That was very important for them, because without Tyrael, the entire composition crumbles. In the meantime, a cheeky back dive here by ZZH, dealing heavy damage on the Greymon. Sanctification is about to drop. No, Tyrael gets out to safety. Might fall to the Sonya, though. The poison is still going strong.
Shield, he actually tries to holy ground himself in case a minion hit him, but he still goes down. Cocoon is used onto Malthael here, who is the follow-up target. He's into the backline, gets Ancestrals. Are they going to try it? Here comes the sound barrier. ZJZ moving in. Genji with the Dragon Blade being a huge distraction. Malthael moves in. He just finished Black Harvest. Tormented Souls is unavailable, and down he goes.
SD gets the kill in the backline.
Something, but yeah, that's everyone dead. Rip.
That's everyone dead. The double dogo's not strong enough here. Now, if SPT is smart, they're only going to leave one person in that shrine, ideally Sonya, because of that wave clear, and they're going to try to take down this fort in the top lane. But no, they're going for something else. They're going for the middle instead, giving them value elsewhere, especially since there's an Impaler camp pushing already. So, regardless, that is also a very nice call, because top is not going to get contested. Middle, they're trying to get even more structural damage done, so good call. I think they could have even considered rotating to the bottom and grab another one, but now I think they're going to make something right in the top. Yeah, Tyrael dying.
Tormented Souls in there. It literally just started, and the Cocoon, it was winding up, but it didn't go on a 10-second cooldown because it had already started. So Malthael was out that this entire time. Dragon Blade was good. It was a good attempt, but at this point it's too late. They all in basically without their 2 biggest tools. Dragon Blade didn't get any kills. They didn't have Tormented Souls, and Tyrael was gone, so they didn't have Sank. So they were really just doomed in that fight from the start.
Exactly. Tyrael dropping so low. And you also have to blame 619 for his positioning there, because he basically brought this upon himself. He was too far away from Rehgar, who had the Ancestral Healing ready. If he hadn't gone in that deeply, if he had played a little bit more conservatively, he could have dropped both the Sank with value, and of course he could have received that Ancestral Healing. Because as it is, he didn't want to drop the Sanctification because it was only affecting him. Anyways, now good Cocoon disengage. They used once again a couple of heroic abilities, most importantly the Tormented Souls. So was it worth it? I think so, because if you're so far behind, you need to get any objective you can find, even if it's just an Impaler camp.
And speaking of that Impaler camp, we see an attempt coming in here from SPT. Tyrael attempts to create a fancy move, and as such
fight now, though. Like, why are they fighting now? They just lost the Tormented Soul.
Yeah, Tormented Souls is gone, Sanctification's gone. This is the exact same as last time, Kendrick. Then down goes Malthael, Ancestral Lands at least, MJ, and it's gone. They did the exact same move as last time. Tyrael dies before Sanct, Tormented Souls is gone. They just burned Dragonblade, achieve nothing. Why do they keep doing this?
Yeah, I don't understand. So here's the thing, right? They used the Tormented Souls to get an Impaler camp. That, okay, nobody died. They actually pushed SPT back. True. I get the reasoning behind it. They were probably like, okay, guys, the enemies are going to hit level 20. Let's fight now, or we're going to have to wait for quite a long time in order to get another chance. But yeah, take those minutes, man. You have all the keeps available. You haven't lost a single keep, and only by risking those unnecessary team fights and dying in the process will you lose keeps. Otherwise, they could have defended. They could have soaked themselves. This is just very reckless behavior from BTG that might actually cost them this early game.
Kendrick, what's the definition of insanity? We see 619 getting killed off by trying to run into 4 people to clear up a camp.
Oh yeah, this is not good. The definition of insanity is if you don't learn from your mistakes and you overestimate yourselves heavily.
Yeah, repeat the same actions over and over again, expecting a different result
like
each
a hamster.
time. Like a hamster. What?
I heard hamsters are pretty insane. Like, they keep running in those wheels.
Why not? Sure, why not? I can't see an argument with this. I mean, I thought it was just exercise, but neat. We do see, by the way, the level 20s have been available for a while for SPT, Bossa Nova, Ignore Pain. The peaceful repos coming in from Karazim, the palm cooldown if he misses.
Yep. And now look at SPT. They realize they're 20. They're trying to go for a cocoon. Genji dodging it gets... What? Okay, it dodged it, right? The cleanse didn't work. That had to be the dodge from the Swift Strike.
Literally, I was looking away from the screen just for that second. So I have
no
idea.
So basically, Anubarak was throwing the cocoon at Genji, and he used the Swift Strike before the projectile had landed on him, and the cocoon basically just popped and nothing happened. And there was also a cleanse. Yeah.
Well, it's definitely dodgeable in that way.
Yeah, exactly.
You can cleanse it. You can dodge it with teleport. You can dodge stuff like Pyroblast and Cocoon with really well-timed teleports. So maybe it was a perfect timing, but it's more likely to be the cleanse.
Really? You think it was the cleanse?
I don't know. I didn't see the timing, but cleanse can do it. So
I'm not sure if cleanse is going to protect you against the cocoon, though. Either way, I would love to see a replay of that, actually. So maybe if someone has a clip, we can watch it after or in between the game. In the meantime, though, we see a fight go down. No sanctification. The ancestral healing too late goes on a 10-second cooldown, and SPT in full momentum.
Different angel died this time. Here comes the Punisher and actually jumps onto the cocoon here. Tyrael needs to get into position to maybe drop that sank on the cocoon when it ends. Nope, he's not there. Now it's just Genji completely isolated. He goes down. 3v5 on the core. Punisher's dead, but it does not matter. And Tyrael trying to do your distraction. Holy Ground into Sanctification as a delay tactic, but the last damage dealer gets deleted. MJ2. Tyrael shall flee to fight another day as the core goes down. And that's going to be GG in game number 1. Going over to SPT, and Tyrael still dies.
Tyrael still dies, the palm just to look good on the ending screen, and SPT, the super perfect team, they had a couple of struggles in the mid-game, but in the end, the victory is all that matters, and they came back swinging with a beautiful execution, but we also have to fault BTG here. I really think they didn't play their composition very cleanly. They had what it takes to take down SPT. We saw that in that one team fight, they actually played really well. They just need to wake up and realize that if they play very sloppily like that again, their participation at BlizzCon is actually a danger, Tetcher.
Very, very true. I mean, that kind of play there is the kind of play that can lose you games versus Hots Lady. And that's, like you said, if they win versus Hots Lady even one game, then they shut out at least RPG. Maybe not the one, but at least RPG. So, but if they play like that, if they just keep repeating the same silly mistakes over and over again, then of course they're going to lose.
Yep, very true. Very true. So, Tetcher, I actually took a look at chat, and most of the people were agreeing on the fact that it was indeed the cleanse. I did not know that you could cleanse the cocoon because I've never seen it happen.
I'm not going to read that chat person name, but someone did attempt to post a link. So.
Yeah, I basically permitted that person to post the link again.
Have a look if they repost it.
Yeah, just repost it, guys. Sorry, but Nightbot is a little bit strict, you know.
Let's have a look.
Actually, okay, let's have a look.